Hey guys, Josh here, and you're watching Chimp Skills. How are ya? So today we're going to be looking at you becoming a better negotiator, part 2. First off, I'd like to reference Roger Dawson and his book, The Secrets of Power Negotiating, which I've used the information to put together the following session. So today we're going to be looking at the tactics that are involved in negotiation, the ones that you can use. So when it comes to these tactics, you can use them in any order. Some of them will be very familiar, but there might just be a slightly different take on them. So that might be the main thing that you get out of it. So to kick things off, tactic number 1 is nibbling. So this is an easy way of getting the smaller sort of demands that we might not have early on in the negotiation, but they're going to be more likely to get at the tail end. So if you think of the negotiation like an uphill battle, it's pretty stressful, and you get to that point where you're just about to agree on something. So it's at this point when most people's stress levels tend to dip and they're a little bit more vulnerable. So say for instance, if we were to buy a car, we'd be negotiating for a couple of hours and we're right at the end, we're just about to sign. The typical one might be, you tell the dealer, that does include a full tank of fuel, doesn't it? Or, you are going to throw in those mats, all those kinds of things. So they're going to be more likely to accept that, knowing they're just short of getting an agreement from you, and they don't want to jeopardize the last 2 hours they've spent with you over a couple of small minor items. So that's nibbling. Number 2 is higher authority. So this is a way that we can still play the good guy, but we can put a bit of passive pressure on the other party. So in any scenario when you're negotiating, as far as the other party's concerned, you don't want to be the person who's making the ultimate decision. You always want to have a higher authority that you have to go and check with. So if you're a dominant person, or if you're a male in general, you're going to have to offload some of the ego. And it's going to hurt a little bit while you're there, but it's going to help you out in the long run. So I'll give you an example. Again, if we were to buy a car, and say for instance, we've agreed with the dealer and we're like, okay, that sounds like a great price. I'm pretty happy with that. I've just got to check with my wife or my higher authority. So at that point, we can go check, come back to the dealer and be like, look, I spoke to the wife, still a little bit too much money. She's not going to give me that much, man. Is there any way we can make it a little bit cheaper? So it's just a way that you can get a bit extra, but it also gives you an out of just almost any scenario, because ultimately you aren't making the final decision. Now number 3 is to test for validity. So in any time when someone palms you off a problem in a negotiation, you want to think of it like a hot potato and put it back on them. So say for instance, if we get demands, we want to test it to see if they're actually legitimate or if they're just something they're using as a bargaining tool during the negotiation. So say for instance, you went to buy a car and you've been negotiating for a bit and the dealer's like, 8 grand, that's it, that's my final offer. So you might say to the dealer, pose an alternate sort of opportunity. So is there any point in me even being here, looking at the other cars, or continuing to have a look at this car if you're not going to be flexible on price? So it's at that point, they're going to let you know, hey, that actually is the final offer, we can't go any lower than that, or okay, well maybe we could drop it slightly or something like that. Now the next one is number 4, which is the trade-off. So a trade-off, whenever you concede something in a negotiation, you want to get something in return. Even if you are at no inconvenience, you still want to get something back for you. So to give you an example of why that's relevant, say for instance, if you were a t-shirt manufacturer and your supplier calls you and they're like, look, the shipment for this month is going to be 1 week late. Now you might have plenty of stock that's already available and this might be of no inconvenience to you at all, but you still want to get something back. So you might ask, well look, I'm happy to do that for you. What are you willing to do for me? So they might say, well, we'll give you a discount on the stock for the entire month, something like that. Now the reason why we do this is that if we weren't to do it and the next month came along and the suppliers were, they had a lot of orders they had to dispatch to and they're like, well, it was okay to give it to Josh a week late last month, I don't see why it'd be a difference now. You want them thinking in the back of their mind, oh, okay, last time I actually had to give him a discount, it was kind of annoying, we don't want him to have to be doing that each month. So there's a negative reinforcement for that action, preventing it from happening again. Number 5 is a really simple phrase that you can say in response to any price you get, any terms you're given. It's simply, you'll have to do better than that. And just by saying that, you may get some concessions off the bat straight away. It's just a really good phrase, you can use it multiple times, works like a charm. Now number 6 is flinching. So flinching basically involves any reaction to a term or price that you're given. It can be as easy as just repeating what someone said to you in a concerning voice. So it might be, well sir, that's going to be $20,000. $20,000? Simple reaction like that makes the other party feel as if the terms that they are offering are unreasonable. Now some people do this really good and they can be completely theatrical about it and play it up, but it's an easy way of setting the bar where that person is aware that you're probably not going to be an easy person to rip off, and they might not offer you the highest price when they're offering you other things down the track. So they may be willing to drop their price before they even talk to you about it because they know how you might react. So that's flinching. Now number 7 is the decoy. So that's basically anything that's taking your attention off the task at hand. Now a more complex version of the decoy is the red herring. So the red herring is a decoy that's actually uncovered during the negotiation. So a few months back I was helping someone that I knew get a pay rise. They'd spoken to the owner of their business and they were agreed to have a pay rise at 3 months, or to talk about a pay rise. They'd been working their butt off, frankly, and they were extremely underpaid. So they had a base salary between sort of $50,000 and $60,000, and they wanted a $10,000 increase. And in this workplace was going to be a pretty tall task to be able to go after. So what we did is we added in a red herring. So we knew that the owner of the business was less likely to actually give that money just on its own, on that merit, and that was sort of the max goal that we were aiming for. So there was also some opportunities within that business at the time for promotion. So when this person went to submit to the owner for their pay rise, they also put in that they would like the promotion as well. So they didn't actually want the promotion. It was irrelevant to them. They wanted the money, but we wanted the boss to think the promotion was a big deal. So we pushed really hard for that. Now in their initial offer was a sort of around a $5,000 increase. We kept pushing really hard on the promotion, saying it was a really important part of them working there, and they felt it was something that would be deserved for all the hard work they put in. So this really frustrated the owner of the business. They got really annoyed. So over some time, basically this person said, well look, don't worry about the promotion, we'll scrap that. But if I'm willing to do that for you guys, what are you willing to do for me? So that opened up the window. We're able to get more money, and I think got to the goal of 10, maybe even up to $11,000. I can't quite remember. So if you can use a decoy just to be able to get more of what you want or to get in something else, it's a good way of sort of throwing the other person off. And then the counter to that, when you're negotiating, you want to make sure that what actually someone else is negotiating with you is a legitimate thing and they're not throwing a decoy at you. The last one, number 8, is splitting the difference, which happens all the time in negotiation. The trick being that you never want to be the person that actually offers to split the difference. You want to infer it, suggest it, but you always want the other party to do it. That way, you're able to then counter when they've split the difference and get the price down even lower, or the terms better for yourself. So look, guys, that's it for all the tactics. A couple of more gems that I got out of the book was 80% of concessions are given up in the last 20% of the negotiation. If you have any questions throughout negotiation, don't let them linger until the end. Get those addressed. And also, never reveal that you have a deadline. You don't want the other party to be able to place any additional pressure on you. So look guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a like, give it a share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and until next time, peace.